Take a look. Such a big internet cafe, and there's not a single person here. I can't keep it going. Might as well just close the doors.
现在这实体真是太难干了。
Running this internet cafe is brutal now. I'm kicking myself for not listening to my wife. Last year, I sank over $1 million into upgrading computers and sprucing up the place. Add in rent and staff wages, I'm done for. Now, I'm offloading everything. Tables for 30 yuan, chairs for 50. The computer towers I bought for over 4,000 yuan last year, they're going for just 1,000 now. And the esports monitors, picked up for over $1,000 each, are selling for a measly 400.
没人呐，没人呐，一个人都没有。
There's no one, not a single person. People say internet cafes are a dying industry, yet I've invested millions into it. The internet cafe business is really tough. Look, there are hardly any customers, and this high-end equipment is just sitting here. Nobody's using it. Nobody likes it. So what else can we do? On June 19th, a 26-year-old man died suddenly at an internet cafe in Shanghai. His family later filed a compensation claim for 1 million yuan. The internet cafe owner had attempted to persuade the man to go home 4 times when he showed signs of physical distress, but he did not listen. In the end, the court determined that the internet cafe was 20% responsible for the incident. As a result, the owner is required to pay at least 200,000 yuan in compensation. Some analysts believe that if this event had occurred 20 years ago, when internet cafes had abundant cash flow, the 200,000 yuan would have been insignificant, and the owner could have easily paid to resolve the matter. However, today's internet cafes are no longer the highly profitable industry they once were. For the owner, paying this amount is undoubtedly a painful experience. In fact, over the past 4 years, more than 50,000 internet cafes across the country have shut down, which is equivalent to 35 closures every day. Reports also show that from 2018 to 2025, the number of internet cafes in China has decreased by nearly 60,000. Once regarded as a wealth-building machine for a generation, internet cafes flourished with large customer flows and high internet fees, fueling numerous entrepreneurial success stories. However, in less than 20 years, this once thriving industry has rapidly declined, turning into a money-losing black hole. High rent, labor costs, and a shrinking customer base have made it difficult for many internet cafe operators to survive. A small setback could lead to the closure of their business. In the past 2 years, live streams on platforms like Douyin and Kuaishou have frequently featured internet cafes selling their computer equipment at low prices. This trend highlights that the number of internet cafe closures is still increasing. Many internet cafe owners have come to regard the industry as a sunset industry. Some owners, in an effort to keep their businesses afloat, have taken out loans of several million yuan. However, within less than a year, they faced monthly losses of 60,000 to 70,000 yuan, forcing them to sell their businesses at a loss and exit the industry. Chinese celebrity Wang Sicong and Taiwanese singer Jay Chou had also invested millions of yuan to open internet cafes, hoping to leverage their influence to boost business. However, even with the support of famous figures, the ongoing downturn in the industry could not be reversed, and they ultimately had to close their internet cafes to cut their losses. Some online users have bluntly remarked, opening an internet cafe at this point seems unwise. So what exactly happened to the internet cafe industry? How did an industry once filled with immense profits and become a key part of the youth culture of the 80s and 90s gradually decline? On one hand, the transition of computers from being scarce to gradually becoming widespread laid the groundwork for the industry's downturn. The peak period for China's internet cafe industry was from 1998 to 2010, with the years between 2002 and 2008 being widely regarded as the golden age. During that time, the price of a standard computer was about 5,000 yuan, while high-end gaming setups could cost over 8,000 yuan. At the same time, the average monthly income of Chinese households in towns ranged from 1,000 to 3,000 yuan, making such expensive equipment unaffordable for many families. Around the year 2000, only 9.7% of households in China owned a computer. The scarcity of computers, combined with the appeal of online gaming, led many young people to flock to internet cafes to experience the new world that computers offered. As a result, this period is generally considered the key stage in the development of internet cafes. It became a highly profitable industry and a popular sector known for its small investment and high returns. At this time, internet cafes had several significant advantages. First, user demand grew exponentially. With a low household-to-computer rate and high internet fees, internet cafes were almost the only large-scale venues for online access. Students and office workers flocked to them after school or work, and in many areas they were fully booked 24 hours a day. Secondly, operational costs were relatively controllable. Rent was generally low, especially in second- and third-tier cities or residential buildings. The computer configuration requirements were not high, and depreciation was low. Typically, only 1 or 2 staff members were needed, keeping labor costs low. Thirdly, internet cafes had excellent cash flow. Most customers paid in advance, with almost no accounts receivable. Revenue came in immediately, and the risk was very low. As a result, many internet cafe owners during this period earned tens of thousands or even over 100,000 yuan a month, far surpassing the earnings of small restaurants or convenience stores, and the industry was seen as highly profitable. By 2020, the National Bureau of Statistics showed that over 70% of households in China had computers. This proportion continues to rise, and many people can now easily access the same entertainment experience at home as they would at an internet cafe. This shift has indirectly led to a significant loss of internet cafe users. On the other hand, technological advancements have gradually shifted users' attention. Since 2010, with the rise of mobile internet and the increasing intelligence of smartphones, various game apps have emerged. Young people no longer limit their gaming to computers, but instead many have turned to the more convenient mobile platforms. Although games like League of Legends and PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds briefly revitalized internet cafes, they were soon overshadowed by computer games such as Honor of Kings and Peacekeeper Elite, which attracted a large number of users away from the traditional internet cafe industry. Take Honor of Kings as an example. By 2017, the game had already registered over 2 million players, with more than 50 million daily active users. By 2020, reports indicated that the game's user base had surpassed 100 million. Furthermore, technological advancements have led to the emergence of more diverse forms of entertainment, such as virtual reality and AI-based games. These new experiences have further accelerated the loss of internet cafe users. In addition to the impact of technology, the rise of esports hotels have also diverted some customers. For players who prioritize privacy, they are now more willing to spend higher amounts to stay in more comfortable environments of esport hotels, rather than returning to the noisy internet cafes. With a fixed number of users, as more competitors entered the market, internet cafes inevitably lost their profit margins, and high returns gradually disappeared. Of course, for an industry to completely exit the commercial stage, it must have entirely lost user demand. However, young people still have some demand for offline computer gaming entertainment. The issue is that the traditional internet cafe model can no longer return to its former glory. The internet cafe industry is no longer like it was 20 years ago, where anyone entering the market could easily make money. As user needs continue to evolve, players now have expectations for the environment and experience at internet cafes. Compared to the past, when internet cafes had simple setups and ordinary computer configurations, today's internet cafes have transformed into a capital-intensive, high-barrier industry. Therefore, to survive in the industry, internet cafes must continuously upgrade to meet evolving trends. As this internet cafe owner stated,
In 2025, internet cafes are on the brink of collapse. Home computers and smartphones have gutted their core purpose, slashing customer traffic. Meanwhile, rent, hardware upgrades, electricity, and staff wages keep climbing, crushing profit margins. To survive, cafes are pivoting to pro-level esport hubs, revamping spaces, boosting hardware, and elevating services. Think private rooms with top-notch hygiene, high-end PCs, esports gear, quality food, and even esports tournaments, plus extras like billiards and coffee, creating all-in-one venues.
It may sound easy, but in reality, upgrading an internet cafe is far from cheap. For example, for a small internet cafe with 30 to 50 computer stations, just replacing the hardware costs between 8,000 to 12,000 yuan per unit. This includes high-performance gaming PCs, monitors, and peripherals. The total investment could range from 250,000 to 500,000 yuan. Adding basic renovations, the overall cost could easily exceed 500,000 yuan. For internet cafe owners who already lack stable revenue, this is an additional burden. A medium or large internet cafe could even require millions or tens of millions of yuan. Moreover, even after an upgrade, there's no guarantee that business will improve. This internet cafe owner, who works in the computer recycling industry, shared that he has seen many internet cafes close down, and their newly upgraded computers sold off at low prices.
Friends, this internet cafe owner just spent hundreds of thousands upgrading to 12th gen CPUs for the cafe. Take a look at this. Now, over 100 computers are all useless. So, what I'm saying is, the business you definitely don't want to start in 2025 is opening an internet cafe. Now, they have to get rid of all their equipment.
In fact, the most important reason for the decline of internet cafes is the economic downturn. In recent years, the offline entertainment industry as a whole has cooled down, with noticeable declines in sales for offline games, including esports internet cafes, escape rooms, and murder mystery experiences. As consumer behavior becomes more rational, and with the vast expansion of online entertainment content, more and more young people have shifted toward online entertainment, which is more affordable and convenient to access. At the same time, the combined impact of the pandemic and economic downturn has continued to reduce foot traffic to offline venues, further worsening business conditions. The high investment and operational requirements of these businesses make them highly dependent on cash flow. Once customer traffic becomes unstable, it becomes difficult to sustain high rent and labor costs. In the past 2 years, the escape room and murder mystery entertainment sectors have also faced waves of closures, with many stores even shutting down within a year of opening, becoming typical examples of failed entrepreneurial ventures.
Today, let's talk about something that definitely isn't making money right now. First, it's the physical stores for escape rooms. In Chengdu alone, over 500 of these stores have shut down within the last 6 months. According to Meituan's back-end data, most of these stores are making less than 20,000 yuan a month in revenue. So how can they even make money?
From 2015 to 2019, the escape room industry experienced rapid growth, with its market size increasing from 1.52 billion yuan to around 10 billion yuan, and a compound annual growth rate of 60%. The number of players surpassed 2.8 million. However, after 2020, the industry faced a slowdown. While the market size continued to expand, it was nearing its ceiling, and competition became increasingly fierce. At the same time, the murder mystery industry also saw explosive growth. By the end of 2019, there were approximately 12,000 physical murder mystery stores nationwide. This number quickly grew to 30,000 in 2020 and soared to around 45,000 in 2021, with the market size estimated to exceed 15 billion yuan. However, since 2022, the industry has gradually entered a decline period. A large number of stores have closed, transformed, or sold their assets, and there are thousands of closure diaries circulating on social media platforms. Data from Meituan in 2021 showed that the number of murder mystery consumers reached about 9.4 million, with total consumer spending of 15.4 billion yuan. But signs of a closure wave were already evident. According to Qixing statistics, the number of business cancellations related to the murder mystery industry has been steadily increasing. Many store owners have openly stated in industry groups. Last year, it is estimated that over 1,000 stores shut down, and losses have become the norm. Public accounts in China have also reported that more than 900 murder mystery and escape room stores are concentrated in 2 buildings at Chengdu Poly Center. Nearly every day, there are announcements of closures or transfers. The industry is gradually sinking into high investment competition, where businesses are forced to spend money on creating immersive scenes and competing for better scripts. Therefore, even if internet cafes successfully complete their transformation, whether they can capture market share in an increasingly shrinking market amid the economic downturn remains a significant unknown. During an economic downturn, many people's incomes decrease, and consumption becomes more cautious. The frequency of visits to internet cafes has clearly dropped among students, migrant workers, and freelancers, who now prefer to play games at home rather than spending money at internet cafes. Even the once frequent internet cafe experts no longer have the money to visit. As economic decline continues and the demand side remains weak, consumption remains sluggish. In May, the consumer price index fell by 0.1% year-on-year, while the producer price index decreased between 2.7% and 3.3%. These figures reflect weak domestic demand recovery and insufficient market vitality. At the same time, both business and consumer confidence have been significantly lacking. In an environment of increasing uncertainty, households are more inclined to increase savings and reduce non-essential consumption, leading to a trend of cautious spending, buying less, and saving more. This situation is not good news for offline entertainment industries like internet cafes. Low consumption rates and a lack of confidence mean that people's willingness to spend on non-essential items will further decline. Online entertainment and esports, being optional expenses, are the first to be cut back or postponed. In such an environment, the internet cafe industry, which was already facing transformation pressure, is unlikely to recover its previous levels in terms of both foot traffic and customer loyalty. Even main players are shortening their internet usage time and opting for cheaper forms of entertainment, such as mobile games or home consoles. The higher prices for VIP rooms and overnight packages at high-end esport venues have made the loss of users even more pronounced. For example, the 30 yuan for an overnight stay used to be an affordable expense for many, but in times of economic strain, this expenditure becomes something to carefully consider. Furthermore, as users' expectations for environment and experience rise, modern internet cafes must undergo comprehensive upgrades in hardware configurations, decor styles, space layout, and esports event operations. The costs for equipment procurement, rent, renovations, and brand promotion have multiplied compared to the past. The industry is no longer one that could be entered with just a few 100,000 yuan. At the same time, the economic downturn does not mean that costs such as rent and broadband fees will decrease accordingly. Internet cafes generally face high fixed costs, including rent, labor, and electricity. And if customer traffic decreases, profit margins are quickly squeezed. Many smaller or financially unstable internet cafes struggle to survive and are forced to shut down. As a result, the payback period has extended from 1 or 2 years to 3 to 5 years, or even longer. For many potential owners relying entirely on loans or high-leverage investment, the lengthy payback period becomes a looming threat. If faced with economic downturns, declining foot traffic, or unexpected events like pandemic lockdowns or policy adjustments, cash flow could suddenly break down. Under such pressure, even stable operations can easily be overwhelmed by high interest rates and the burden of loan repayments. Long payback periods often become the breaking point for internet cafe owners. Many once dreamed of replicating the golden age of earning money as soon as the doors opened. But the reality has changed dramatically. Heavy assets, low profit margins, and high risks have become inseparable labels of the modern internet cafe industry. Most importantly, in this environment, capital has become increasingly cautious about internet cafes, making financing more difficult. Whether it's upgrading hardware, improving the environment, or transforming into a high-end esports venue, all require higher investments, significantly increasing pressure on cash flows. Many small and medium-sized internet cafes can only manage low-level operations and are gradually being marginalized in the face of competition. This has led to a situation where high-end internet cafes and branded esports venues still have a market due to their good environment and stable customer base, but with low profits. Meanwhile, small and medium-sized internet cafes have seen a sharp decline in foot traffic, with more and more deciding to close. It can be expected that in the near future, the development prospects of internet cafes and similar offline entertainment businesses will become even more challenging and uncertain, and the pace of industry reshuffling and elimination may accelerate.